Let's get back to it. Dishonored 2, everyone. A game which I am very thoroughly enjoying to this point. Last time we finished the mission against the Crown Killer. Dr. Hypatia, that was her name. She was in a Jekyll and Hyde situation after she was given this potion by Duke Abella, I think. We wanted two things from her. We wanted to learn what we could about the Crown Killer, and we also wanted to learn the location of Anton Sokolov. She was apparently the Crown Killer. We stopped her by giving her an antidote that would keep her from going into... oh god, Max Chaos. Max, of course. Incidentally, Max, if you legally change your name to Max Chaos, I would buy you a car. I was just thinking, like, oh, I'd get you something from the merchandise store, but then I was thinking, nah, nothing would suffice if he changed his name to Max Chaos legally. I wouldn't actually buy you a car. Please don't try to get a car from me. I can't afford it. Right. Yeah, so Max Chaos, definitely. We stopped the Crown Killer. She's no longer evil, we think. And I want to say we found something in her office that indicated where Sokolov would be. Anyway, we're back on board the Dreadful Whale. We just woke up from a good nappy nap. It says, talk to Megan Foster about the best way to reach the home of Kiran Jindosh, Grand Adventure of the Duke of Serkonos. Yes, so there's a Serkonan version of Anton Sokolov. His name's Kiran Jindosh, and apparently he either has Sokolov, meaning like kidnapped him. Check my Discord name. I think you're working on my life, please. Hey man, legal name change. Discord's too easy. But I will say this. When I was a kid, I wanted to change my name to Max. You know how every kid, at least, I don't know, every kid I knew, at some point in their childhood wants to change their name to something else that they think is cool. Like my brother, my youngest brother, he was like 7 years old when the movie Speed came out with Keanu Reeves. And he thought that movie was frickin' awesome. And Keanu Reeves' character in that movie was Jack. So the rest of his life, or the rest of his childhood, he wished that he could change his name to Jack. In fact, to the degree that his currently only, but firstborn son, he named Jack. For me, the name was Max. I wanted to change my name to Max when I was a kid. Just sounded cool, I thought. Right. Dreadful Whale, gotta talk to Megan. I kind of thought we might see another outsider dream, but that's not the case. Xavier or Lincoln, because those were the options my mom was brewing with along with Max. Nah, man, if I was you and the choice was Xavier, Lincoln, or Max, I would go with Max 10 times out of 10. Max was the name I wanted as a kid.
They say up in Tivia, watch the faces of those who bow the most deeply, or some such.
Megan?
Is it truly possible the good doctor didn't know she was the Crown Killer? Maybe she just didn't want to.
I think the latter. Why are you talking all creepy? Anyway, you with Megan? Yeah, okay, you told me that already.
You might want to talk to Hypatia before we head out.
Oh my gosh,
She's
we've got her?
one of the rooms, just for a while, I think. Needed to be away from Admire.
I didn't think we had her. I didn't know that we had her. Yeah, it was okay. It was I think of Pem being a happy accident. If I was to start a YouTube channel with no prior name, I would try to think of it. I'd be like, oh gosh, what's my name gonna be? Better think of something awesome. Oh god. I don't know if I'd come up with anything good. When I first started YouTubing, I thought Pem was kind of a stupid name, but I'm like, I'll go with it, I guess. But now I'm happy with it. Right. Maximus is cool. It's a little I don't know, it just sounds a little self-aggrandizing to me. Maximus meaning great, or greatest. I guess Maximilian isn't far from that, which is usually where Max is derived from. Max, is your name Max, or is it short for Maximus or Maximilian? Blood of the Abel House. I'm sorry, guys, I'm just realizing the volume in my ears is very loud. Maxwell! I didn't even think about that. Maxwell, of course. So I imagine you've gotten some Silver Hammer references in your life, eh? Blood of the Abel House, Chapter 4, Introduction. This chapter will focus on Adithia Abel, Steward of Calero. We've read a couple of these chapters. I don't think we've read this... No, we have. One Isle, one Circanos, united under House Abel. Yep. We've read that one. Beetles are your mom's favorite. I can't say that your mom is wrong. Beetles are pretty terrific. I got something about a wheel. Find the crank wheel. Somewhere on the ship. Alright, we have a side quest. You're on the boat. Wait a minute. Publican's middle name is Max?
Megan must be up on deck. Ramsey and the Crown Killer. 2 pieces of the puzzle. More to go.
Delilah.
To reach Jindosh, I'll have to take the carriage through Lower, then Upper Aventa.
Lower to Upper Aventa.
We'll find you, Anton. I wonder how recently this silvergraph image of Jindosh was made.
He looks dapper.
With a couple dozen clockwork soldiers, Jindosh changed the Empire. What would he do with an army?
I really like this dynamic. The map with the bulletin board, the updates throughout the game, it looks like. That's neat. I like it. Clockwork Soldier Basics. To all personnel, after last week's disaster, the Grand Inventor, Kiran Jindosh, circulated the following information related to his Clockwork Soldiers. All Grand Guard personnel should read this report. The Clockwork Soldier is protected by armored wooden plates. If some miscreant destroys these, then there's nothing protecting the vulnerable mechanisms underneath. I wonder if they're vulnerable to fire, then. Family tradition, every generation there has been at least one male with the middle name Max. Ah, that's not a bad tradition. In my father's family, this isn't talking out of school. I've revealed my real first name, my meat space first name. Well, actually, not many people watched it, so maybe it was back in the Unreal Tournament 2004 Let's Play. I revealed my first name. So I guess that's no harm to tell you guys what it is here, but my first name is William. And in my father's family, there was a tradition of the men in my father's family naming their sons William. So, but with a different middle name. So they weren't technically juniors, because it wasn't the same first and middle name. It was a different middle name. But it weirdly went in kind of a weird, like a alphabetical order rotation. So there was a William Harold, then a William Edward. So it went from H to G, or H to E rather. But then it went William Edward E, William Ferdinand F, William George G, William Henry H, that was me, and then I stopped. I didn't name my kid William. There was never any, like, my dad never told me, like, hey, you have to name your son William. There was never any pressure. It was just like, yeah, this is the history, but you do what you want to do. So I was like, yeah, okay, I'm not really feeling it. Um, growing up the son of a William who was called Bill, they didn't want to call me Will or Bill because they thought it'd be too confusing to have two such similar sounding names in the house. So they actually gave me a nickname based on my last name. And I grew up on that nickname thinking that was my first... Like, until I was in kindergarten, I didn't actually know what my first name was. I thought it was my nickname. And so I think as a kid growing up, I was like, well, William thing doesn't mean anything to me because I didn't really know I was called William until I had already, like, had this identity of who I was with my name and everything. So it wasn't really ever too important to me. There was a part of me that kind of wanted to, but I also thought to myself, like, if the person that I have kids with someday doesn't want to, I'm totally fine with that. And when my current wife, well, she's my wife now, but at the time we weren't married. But when she got pregnant and we talked about names, and you've ruined your family's power source. Yes, that's true. The long line of William Liches now lies dormant. I just mentioned it to her, like, hey, this is a tradition in my family. I could go with it or I could go against it. I don't care either way. You tell me. She's like, nah, I'm not really feeling it. I was like, okay, cool. And my dad has never said anything about it. He's never said, like, oh, that's disappointing, son. I wish you would have kept the tradition alive. Nothing like that. I don't think he cares too much. So. Also, I have two brothers, and one of them could name their offspring William if they wanted to and keep the tradition going. It'd be fine. To wit, though, this is a long digression, I'm sorry. I don't think it was intentional. I think the first William Harold to William Edward was obviously intentional. But after that point, I don't think that there was an effort to say, okay, every firstborn after this will be named William with a different middle name. I think it just kind of worked out. Like, oh, okay, yeah, different, sure. Of all the William middle name blank in my family, obviously there's only me and my dad that I've ever known. His dad was dead before I was born, William Ferdinand. I obviously never knew my great-grandfather. And then William Harold, who would have been my great-great-grandfather, I know absolutely nothing of. In fact, my dad doesn't know anything of him. My dad didn't even know about William Harold. My dad thought that William Edward was the first William until my great-uncle Richard, my dad's Uncle Richard, told him, no, there was a William Harold even further back. Anyway, nobody cares about this shit. I don't know why I'm talking about this. Okay. Clockwork soldiers. Anyway, we think the clockwork soldiers might be vulnerable to fire. Certainly if we bust up their wooden plates. The fact that they're wooden makes me think that they would burn. If something knocks off the clockwork's head, the thing will attack anyone it can, ally or not. That means you. Very good. That's good to know. Given the expensive optics Mr. Jindosh has provided each clockwork with, they can see in the front and in the back. Remember that if another one of them goes haywire. Oh, okay. If some fool is able to get close enough, there's a small panel on each clockwork that can be rewired, which will invert their perception of friend and foe. Again, that means you get attacked. Keep these things in mind, and the clockworks will be an asset and not a liability. Third Lieutenant Fiora Diaz, Lower City Technical Guard, Grand Circona Guard, Technical Office. Sorry, the bourbon's kicking in. So one thing that I've missed about this game that we got to enjoy quite a bit in the first game is the rewire tools. I don't think I've yet had a single rewire tool in this game, though the possibility exists. Being on the ship, being on the run, without having the patrons at the Hound Pits pub, means that I don't have as many resources as did Corvo in the first game. Republican did genealogy back in the 18th century. 6 generations of Charles. Real imaginative bunch. I kind of like the tradition of name. I don't like junior, senior, junior, the third, the fourth. Well, I don't like that. But I like the tradition of some kind of naming tradition. That's kind of cool. It's a family consistency. I wouldn't criticize it as unimaginative, though I guess that could be part of it.
Hypatia did terrible things under the influence of her formula, but she's free now.
One imposter has been crossed out, because I guess we've captured the Crown Killer.
So the Crown Killer was a tool of the Duke's coup. The murders had a calculated effect.
Indeed. Charles VI. Yeah. Sounds very aristocratic. Alright, so I gotta find the wheel, and I want to talk to Hypatia before we even get started on a mission. Ah! Hello. Found it. Whoa! I didn't even have to do anything, I just got close enough. Some crank wheels lock when released or fully rotated and cannot be turned again. Very well. I'll keep that in mind. Player name after my various mod testing characters who were deleted too young. I will say for my children's names, neither one of my children's names... Oh my gosh, I didn't even see this. I mean, not that... Maybe I did see this. Because I think I've been up here. There's nothing back here. I think I have been up here, but there's nothing back here. I remember that. Neither of my children's names were names that I had listed as possible names of my kids. They both ended up being named very biblically, but that was just purely an accident of like, oh, what sounds good? Like, we didn't have any names picked out. We knew that we were having boys each time. But we didn't have names picked out ahead of time because we felt like, oh, you got to meet the kid, you know, see their face. And then you can figure out what they might be called. So we did. So they didn't actually have names until we got them out of the hospital. Like, it was the day that we, you know, 2 days after they were born, the day we were leaving the hospital, we'd pick out a name. First and middle. Very noble line of dirt farming serfs. Hey, that's exactly, I think, where I'm descended from. Family of, well, on one side, a family of German dirt farming serfs. And another, a family of Franco-German dirt farming serfs. I think. I don't know if they were necessarily dirt farmers, but I don't believe anybody on my side of the family had significant wealth. As evidenced by the fact that they were immigrants to the United States. The Shinderi Gift. A study by Amora Clipswitch. Also, I don't know if this needs to be said, but I'll say, for the benefit of the people in the chat, when I'm streaming, I enjoy going on these long digressions. I don't care so much about doing the gameplay and everything. I think it's kind of fun to go on digressions and talk to you guys and everything. But for the benefit of the people catching up on YouTube, I sometimes feel like, oh, God, I'm sure they don't want to hear this shit, because they're not interacting with me in real time. They're just having to listen to this shit after the fact. So if you're in the chat and you feel like I'm cutting these kinds of digressions short, I apologize. If you're listening on YouTube and you're feeling like I'm not cutting these digressions short enough, I apologize for that. It's a delicate balancing act when you're archiving your live streams. Don't even know your father's father and only know up to your mother's father. I mean, I don't think that you're too terribly different, Max. Like, I know the names of people that I'm descended from, but as far as anything about them, they could have been handsome, ugly, they could have been kind, assholes. I have no idea. even in my grandparents' generation, who 3 of whom were alive during my lifetime. Only 1 of them remains now. But even them, as a grandchild of them, there's only so much you learn about them because you're a kid and they're adults, and they don't share a lot of what makes them who they are, you know, understandably, with a little kid. So as much as I care about my grandparents and felt lost when the 2 of them that have passed away in my lifetime died, at the same time I always felt like I don't really know them like, there are people that I've met in the last 3 years that I feel like I know better than I knew my grandparents when they were alive. So I feel like people overemphasize ancestry to a certain degree. There are 2 things that are true. One, you go far enough back, we're all descended from slaves, and we're all descended from kings. So anybody claiming that I have royal blood, fuck you, dude. We all have royal blood in our family, if you go back far enough. Likewise, we all have the blood of slaves, if you go back far enough. Everybody does. It's not a question. And then the other thing is, I find that genealogy and emphasis on where you come from and ethnicity and that kind of thing is a very, like, white people thing. At least in the U.S. Maybe it's different for people outside the U.S., but in the U.S. it's a very European American thing. To be like, oh, my family came from here, and they did this, and they knew these people, and they owned this much land, or whatever. If you think about, like, Native Americans, they don't often have the luxury of knowing who their ancestors were or what they did. Likewise with African Americans. Likewise, many times with Latino Americans, who are usually descended from Native peoples or mestizo, mix of Spanish and Native. So, I don't know. Genealogy, ethnicity, it kind of seems like a luxury. Not a luxury. I hate to say the word privilege, because privilege, I think, is a bit overused in the current political climate, but it is a bit. There are plenty of Americans who have no idea who the fuck they are, where they came from, and that's fine. There's no shame in that. The people who do know where they came from, they're descended from assholes the same as everybody else. I don't know, it doesn't change anything, right? We're all descended from assholes. We all have ancestors that were very kind somewhere, I'm sure, but we also have ancestors that were assholes. Doesn't make us better or worse than anybody else. Shoutouts to all our forgotten 1800s snake oil salesmen who were never written about. Amen. Shout out to everybody who's never been written about. Every human being who didn't make it into the annals of history. There's more of them than there are people of historical note, for sure. In fact, the non-historical probably outnumber the historical by 1,000 to 1. More than that. Very fine people on both sides. Oh, Max. Oh, Max. Incidentally, I agree completely with the sentiment that you're expressing. But being a distinguished YouTube personality such as myself, I hesitate to get involved in politics for fear of alienating any of my viewers. Oh, wow. I don't know how long I talked about that shit. Let's get back to the game. Everyone in the 1600 were dicks. People with a lot of problems. That's fine, Max. Don't worry. It's pretty clever. I like it. Yeah, one thing I learned a similar thing, Publican, from just being kind of a fan of history, and then also playing Crusader Kings 2. Is that looking at all the royalty in Europe at the time, in medieval Europe and Renaissance Europe, it's like they were all a bunch of freaking jerks and assholes and selfish sons of bitches anyway. It's like, why would you go out of your way to be proud of being descended from them? I don't know. Anybody who had that much land and that much wealth and that much luxury at that period in history either did unspeakable things to get it, meaning they screwed over tons of people, or they were descended from people who did unspeakable things to get it. In either case, why would you be proud to be descended from somebody like that? Anyway. Medieval 1%. Yes, exactly right. The Pope, the Cardinals, the kings, the queens, the lords. They were standing on the shoulders. Jesus. They were standing on the shoulders of millions of peasants who actually did all the labor. Right. The Shindari Gift, a study by Imura Clipswitch. A name that makes me giggle, when if I hadn't been drinking any bourbon, I probably wouldn't giggle at it at all. On the effect of the winds on the Karnakan landmass and resulting economic positions. Oh, goody. This sounds like a winner. Whale oil. Liquid power. Sounds like, is it Upton Sinclair? Sinclair the one who wrote Oil? Which There Will Be Blood was based on? Upton Sinclair. I always confuse the author of Oil with the author of The Jungle. Were they the same person? Was it both? Were both books written by Upton Sinclair? Shit. That's gonna bug me. Right. Oh, publican's talking now. Everyone was a dick. I think for the most part, yeah. I'm sure that there were kind, considerate, gentle-hearted people back then. Back in any period in human history. But unfortunately, except for the last, 100 years, and even within the last 100 years, it's more advantageous wealth-wise to just be a dick. The dicks are the ones that are successful. We're going to start a communist uprising. An anarcho-communist uprising right here in this Twitch stream, you guys. Right. That'll get Max's blood boiling. Talking whale oil. How astonishing that within those beasts, inside the oil harvested along with their flesh, was enough power to see the isles through these tumultuous years. And it all seemed limitless, but now the lights begin to dim. Our fisher folk say the great beasts are increasingly rare. Don't kill yourself, kind-hearted. You didn't die poor and nameless. Yeah, sort of. I don't know. I mean, there are some people who are historical who were probably kind-hearted and died for that reason. Of course, they've also been accused, usually those people have been, accused of being demagogues and just interested in power for their own sake, and that they were taking advantage of populism to try to help the little man, but really they were just in it for their own ambition. I'm thinking like Huey Long, the Grackeye, well, those are two examples that come to mind. I'm sure there are plenty of others. But they may have been genuinely decent people. They may have actually just been cared about the plight of laborers and farmers. And they've been demonized by conservative historians ever since then because they seem like maybe there's some projection going on. Like, surely they couldn't have been as altruistic as they say. They must have been in it for their own ambition. It's impossible for a human being to be truly altruistic. So these historians say, in my head. Every time I look up a how long does it take to beat this game thing online, it always says like, oh yeah, it's going to take you this many hours. And I always have to add like 50%. And this is the reason why. Because I start talking and I don't stop. Our fisherfolk say the great beasts are increasingly rare. Okay, so here's what we're we've put this together through the first and second game. The whales have some kind of relation to the outsider. The fact that whale oil is used in all the different advanced technology in this universe, especially the destructive advanced technology, makes it feel like the whale oil is the outsider's fingers reaching out into the world, right? And from what we can see, the outsider's intentions are very destructive. Or if not destructive, at least earth-shaking. He likes to rock the boat. Yes, thanks very much, Max. I appreciate it. Not all places will suffer this loss equally. Why he chose whales and whale oil, I don't know. But I have a feeling he's behind the whales and the whale oil, the outsider is. Karnaca has a unique feature, the cleft in Shundari Peak, through which the winds are channeled and amplified. As whale oil begins to run short with the cost of finding the remaining leviathans escalating beyond the worth of the oil itself, law of diminishing returns, Karnaca will find itself ascended among the isles. What the hell does the peak have to do with... What? We're lamenting the fact that the winds on the Karnacan land messed themselves. We're lamenting that there aren't enough whalers. Whalers. There aren't enough sexy whalers left. They've all retired and hit the links. There aren't enough whales left. And the whales that are left are diminishing returns because it's more expensive to get out to where they are and bring them back. But fear not, says this random person. Imora Clipswitch. The mountain on our island has a cleft which channels winds. I guess she's talking about wind power? Okay, Max. Thanks very much for hanging out. The outsider was the sexy whaler all along. I should have known! Apparently wind power is going to save Karnaca. I don't know. Good grief, that was a long digression. I am sorry, everyone. Let's go talk to Hypatia, huh? Is she playing music?
What did I do? What did I do? All these faces and the Duke's voice lulling me, then feeling her push me down into sleep.
Oh, sure. Pretend like you didn't know.
Oh, you're here.
Yes.
Stay with me a moment.
Hello. Read her notes really quick. On a boat, with friends, I believe. I slept, thankfully without the usual nightmares. Perhaps the sea air does me good. The captain, Megan Foster, brought some tea earlier. Such an interesting woman. She seemed to understand about my strange, disjointed memories, and the feelings of dread that accompany them. As soon as I am able, I must return to Addermire. So much of the last few months seems a blur. What was I accomplishing? What of my research into serums for the black spittle? Black spittle. I don't know if we've heard that mentioned before, or if we have, what the significance is. Is that related to the blood flies? My work was so easily derailed, I can only conclude I was suffering from a complete, exhaustive breakdown. I will need time to recover. Yeah, I got bad news for you, lady. It weren't a breakdown. Ooh. Thanks. I'm just helping myself. Is that the music that she was playing? I think it was. Okay. maybe I'll drop in later. Okay, Max, if you are able to, I will see you then. Otherwise, have a good night, Happy New Year, and I'll see you next week, hopefully.
Dr. Hypatia, can you remember anything that might help me? I need to find Anton Sokolov. He could be the key to unraveling the Duke's plans.
My memories are disjointed. The Duke is close to his grand inventor, Kirin Jindosh. But that man has the empathy of a mantis. He seems to both admire and despise Sokolov. We visited Aramis Stilton. I liked him. But something bad happened.
Aramis Stilton.
Just snatches of memory. Sorry.
You should rest easy for a while. Maybe some of that will help.
She did like a Jedi hand move there.
I'm not sure I even fully understand what you did for me, but I owe you for helping me at Adamire. Thank you.
You should rest. I noticed that during that, I guess it was a cinematic, I don't know, there was a little black framed cut, but the number of Adamire solutions in this crate stayed consistent. I took one of them, then I came over here and talked to her, and when I was talking to her and frozen in place, that number was the same. I kind of imagined that cutscene was happening outside of the world that I had interacted with, but it apparently was not. So I'm gonna go talk to Megan now about the next mission, I suppose, huh? Probably spend 4 hours on it. Whoa! Megan?
Let's hope your friend doesn't sink the boat while we're gone. Ready?
Friend? Who, Hypatia? Wait a minute. Is there a place I can get frickin'
Suit yourself.
supplies? There's not. I don't think that there is. Like, I'm thinking, like, traps and stuns and rewires and shit like that. There's not. I don't think. I think the only vendors in this game are within missions. Like we saw in a place whose name I've already forgotten. Whatever the hell this Circonan, whatever the hell this area was called. I forgot. Dockyard Quarter? Hang on. Dockyard Quarter. That's right. It's the same map, right? It's just marking where they put it, which I never picked up. Because I'm a boob. Alright, Megan, sorry. I don't know why I thought you had a vendor on here, but of course you don't. Let's go.
Ready?
Ready.
I am.
All right, let's get underway.
Megan's name, sorry. Megan's voice sounds familiar, but I don't know that I could place it. Maybe a voice in Skyrim. Not sure. The Clockwork Mansion. Oh, that sounds awesome. Means there's going to be some clockwork monster soldier things we have to fight. Anton Sokolov is being held at the mansion of Kirin Jindosh, grand inventor to the Duke and creator of the Clockwork Soldier. Get inside, rescue Sokolov, and eliminate Jindosh before he builds an army of clockwork soldiers. Man the flames.
Jindosh is important to the Duke's
We are
inner
building
circle.
an army.
The Grand Guard watches his mansion, and they'll call down the entire city if they find out who you are.
Okay.
I'll make sure they don't.
Yeah,
You
right.
said there's a wall of
By
ice
killing
to
them
block
all.
access to the carriage station?
Yes, but there's a black market shop nearby. They sell on the sly.
Nice effect with the wind on her collar.
Ever use a rewiring
That's cool.
tool?
Corvo taught me the theory.
Good. Get
we
past
haven't
the
had
wall of
rewires
light,
until
then
now.
ride the carriage to where Jindosh lives. And there's a reason people are afraid of his mansion.
I'll get it done.
Emily, take care of this crazy man and his clockwork soldiers, then bring Sokolov back. He means a lot to me.
So, are you giving me a rewire tool or no? I'm on my own. Thanks, Megan.
His home is supposed to be full of marvels. Locals go in as a test of courage or because they're desperate for a meal. Can't see them. People say you can hear them at night, pounding on the windows, calling for help.
Dead body. Be super sneaky. Sometimes it's a little hard in this game to parse out what's usable from what's not. The usable things get a slight white outline, and of course they get the prompt, but if you're not looking carefully, you might not see it. Just a dinghy. Can't get through there. Shit, that didn't sound good. Wait a minute, did I see rewire tool? I thought I saw rewire. Guess it was the grindstone. Damn. Dusk, it looks like. Sounds a little paranoid. Advantage, Emily. Dang, I was kind of thinking might be a way out top of that, but there's not. The hell? Okay.
The ocean is a malignant force. It exists to drive us mad.
I told her once, I told her 1,000 times. It ain't my job to check on the grind.
Oh, killer's watching. Texas, Texas, Texas.
For those poor fools who make
boots just don't fit right.
Carriage station. Black market shop.
winds and deep silver mine. Leave the ocean for those with no other choice.
14, 59, 74, 28, 89.
Is it a curse or a blessing to linger past your time in the world?
Curse, mother, it's a curse. Oh, that looks a bit like the vehicle that I took to Addermire. Civvies, it looks like. Right above me. God. I ain't got no fire. Corbin, my man. I got no fire. I have no fire. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm concerned about. Fire is what makes the blood flies die. And I have it not. Alright, fuck it. The fact that I'm able to slice blood flies out of the air is pretty impressive. Fire indeed hot. Have you ever in your life tried to hit a fly out of midair? It's hard as hell. Looks like it's above me again.
Yes, there is more here than corruption and pain. Don't despair. There is goodness in it.
Destroying their nest definitely seems to calm them down. Seance notes. Nice. Ugh. Let's read the seance notes, shall we? Month of Songs. Lady Cottington brought silk scarves from her boutique, one of which Mr. Prospero used to gently strangle her. I maintained a count of her pulse and observed her breathing. When the life signs faded, excuse me, we left her still for 2 full minutes before reviving her. Was it really the void she described? Have we succeeded in seeing the unseeable? Sorry, hiccups all of a sudden. Oh, but then again, I've never seen a fly the size of my fist. Good point. If it was that big, you might be able to punch it out of the sky. That's true. My hand trembles as I recall the intensity in her eyes, as she struggled to recount with broken voice what she felt during those 2 minutes. Month of Earth. Month of Songs, Month of Earth. I convinced our little group that less gentle methods were needed if our desire to meet the outsider was sincere. Blood fly fever, voluntarily induced. That will be our way to the void. Jesus, you psychopaths. After procuring a few blood flies and some Addermeyer solution, we coated our hands with the elixir before exposing them to the vivarium. The stinging was unbearable. Lady Cottington fainted immediately. I was the last one to remove my hands. What the fuck? Coated our hands with the elixir before exposing them. Okay. So they put Addermeyer solution on their hands, stuck them into a blood fly area. The blood flies stung them. I was the last. Oh, to remove my hands from the vivarium. Okay, I thought it meant remove, meaning like cut them off. It's like, what the fuck? The fever was quick to set in. As I faded in and out of consciousness, ocean waves pounded above me. There were silhouettes in the distance and shimmering black rocks. Yep, that sounds like the outsider's realm. A timeless passing in an unthinkable place, while delirium held us for a few hours. I must get back there as soon as possible when my wounds have healed. Is that the dude on the bed over there? Combat sleep dart. I haven't seen a way to use the upgrades that I find so far in the game.
This city is a place of riches, but not all get a seat at the banquet table.
How am I going to get up there? I think there was a staircase. Yeah, up here.
Somewhere a noble woman is beating a servant. He is but a boy. The beating will leave him blind.
Jesus Christ.
He was late with the tea.
Right there. It's not only just a bone charm, it's an outsider. It's an outsider goddamn oh, the window. It's an outsider shrine, that's what I'm trying to say. Okay. Here comes another drug trip. Ooh. What the hell happened here? Okay. Whispers from the Void by Barnoli Mulani. Treatise on the physical existence of that foreign realm. Excerpt. It is a common story. A person has stopped breathing, pinned under carriage wheels or some other tragic happenstance, and is thought to be dead. But when the weight is removed, they make a quick recovery. I think I read this way back in the first game. But nonetheless, for a moment or two, this person was lost to us, lost to the world itself. And what did they experience while in this temporary death? Darkness? Nothingness? No, indeed not. They tell us, as so many before have, they were in a particular place and can describe it vividly. And who among us does not know the place? Have we not all seen it in our dreams? This place we share in the farthest reaches of our minds? The realm where nothing makes sense, where one is at once both lost and at home. Void. Whispers from the Void by Barnoli Mulani 2. These little glimpses of the void in dreams or described by those awoken from comas are not limited to select few. In my interviews, I've gleaned that there is not a single citizen without such visions at one time or another. This, then, must be a real place, not folklore or mass delusion. Perhaps it exists deep below the earth or far above it. Perhaps it is right next to us, but hidden. Some trick of the light or wondrous curtain bars us from fully knowing it. And we all but wait for a natural philosopher to unlock the phenomenon, to show us how to see it at will. But when so revealed, it will not be a fearsome place any longer. Not the distant and special realm described in the myth of the outsider. It will be strange, yes, even unsettling, but nonetheless it will be a new realm for us to explore and eventually conquer. Okay, sure. If you've been there, you I don't think that's a place you can conquer. What new treasures await us there? Are the lakes made of liquid diamond, the clouds of weightless silver gas? And what things would we learn? That guy sounds like a colonialist.
You, my love, if you can but resist the urge for vengeance.
Sorry, Mother, I'm Max Chaos all the way. The hell? Jesus Christ.
I'll tell you a story about Kirin Jindosh, the Duke's grand inventor. Once he was commissioned to make a toy for a 6-year Tivian noble girl. Jindosh worked for 3 months and built a machine composed of wood, brass, and the bones of several cats. It ran on a few drops of whale oil a day. The little girl was told she would have a special treat, and she was perfectly delighted until the moment it was activated. She lives in an asylum up at Dabakfa now, and will until the end of her days.
Is that the first of his clockwork soldiers, perhaps? Powers, eh? I have 4 runes? Oh, I have 6 runes. God damn, Doppelganger would be really useful. I want to take the next link, though. Link up to 4. Oh, do I want to go with that, or do I want to go with... these? I think I'm going to go with Doppelganger. I have 2 left, so I could do Baffling Shade. It leaves behind a cloud that incapacitates enemies for a few seconds. Or Transposition. Swap places with your summoned Doppelganger. Yeah. I'm gonna. It's probably gonna take me a few tries to make the best use of that. That seems like a thing I'll fuck up. But I'll give it the old college try. Just kind of hoping to be able to go over to there. Ah, that'll work.
Trouble sleeping again last night. Maybe I ought to try one of those sleeping tinctures, but they can be kind of pricey.
How the hell do I get in here? Ah. Crazy shit went down in here. Letter to Bonneville. Major Bonneville, thank you again for your help. Without you, it would have been impossible to trace the final members of the Grand Guard who were with Stilton that night 3 years ago. The last man had made it all the way north to Maya, if you can believe it, and was recovering at a Tivian asylum for the poor, claiming to have seen all manner of strange things in the night of Stilton's last social gathering. He even described an exotic, hooded figure visiting the manor, perhaps someone connected to Stilton's disappearance. Such matters are best left to military men such as yourself, I suppose. I still have your bank agent's name and address. Rest assured your final payment will be delivered soon. I'm also sending a small flask of liquor that is close to my heart, made from the pomace left over after wine grapes have been pressed. Please think of me as you enjoy. Yours truly, Brianna Ashworth. Stilton. I feel like that's the first time we've heard that name mentioned. That doesn't sound familiar at all. This guy's sleeping? No, he's dead. Leviathan's mind. What is Leviathan's mind? Regenerate mana while underwater. No, I think I'll stick with what I've got. Loving is what I got. Said remember that. Loving is what I got.
He's Bobby's fourth business partner. The others have all been arrested under strange circumstances. Only he knows the truth.
I love the heart so much. It is such a cool addition to this game.
My heart can't take much more of this.
Just looking around trying to see what's next. There's a wall of light there. Train tracks there. Black market shop over there.
I gotta get back to Dunwall. And I feel so bad. I haven't seen the kids in 2 years.
Look at all the industrial sounds going on in the background. That's a really cool feature.
Put in a request for new boots, and what did I get? Sock.
I was trying to link up.
Blood flies for a second.
I was trying to link that guy with that guy. No? Maybe they need to be closer. I've got that guy. I want to get that guy. And that guy?
Killer. Heard some victims were found half devoured. Blood and shit everywhere.
Okay, I'm just gonna get 2 of them. That's fine.
Huh?
One night at the body house. One night. Now I'm covered in shankers.
Something wrong.
Kind of dry. He's out really go for a whiskey or something. Maybe one of them
What?
2-penny drinks.
Look at this guy. He's doing his job. That guy's just talking to himself.
Not in the mood. Show yourself.
He's jealous of the new lieutenant. He'll scuff up the man's boots to get him in trouble.
What the hell, game? There we go. That's all I was trying to do.
What is going on?
Okay. So much for being sneaky.
The guy ain't got enough to worry about. They say there's someone on the prowl.
Max Chaos, baby! Yeah. There's always options in this game. There's always options. Okay. Oops, didn't mean to set that. Can't turn it off, can I? Fuck it up! Just fuck the whole room up. Break that shit. That's cool. This. Okay, is that it? I don't think I can get out this door. Oh. There's more. Runner bone charm nearby. 12 meters.
So many places I wanted to visit with you.
Open safe, or actually a safe with no door even. And the rune is right next door.
Impressive how you managed to get there. Be careful. Those people at the oil tanks might still be around.
The hell? Is that guy talking to me? Okay, first off, is this how I get to the black market? And is this how I get to this rune? Key.
All right. I don't know shit about explosives. Never said I did. I'll go out again later and find some more.
Good. You can't rush jobs like this. It takes a smooth hand.
Can't piss around here forever either. Eventually some wanker will see us and the howlers will catch wind. But I hear you. One more tank.
What's going on here?
Sorry. Shit, what? I thought you guys were at the shop.
I scarf it. I can't see shit!
I think these were the black market people. No. The black market shops nearby. What the hell? Why did... I walked in here thinking, oh, it's the black market people. They're burglars, though. Okay. Letter from Bethy. Sarah, things are rotten here in Dunwall. Nothing is the same since the coup. It ain't safe for no one, and there's no jobs neither. You get yourself back here and take your kids. It ain't right you should have left them with me for so long. Anyway, you didn't mention how sickly they was, and poor behaved. Now you're my sister, and that counts for something. But when the new month comes, I'm leaving. There's no more I can do. I ain't their mother, and they won't listen. I can't afford to feed 'em no more. There's nothing left for beers or rent by the time they're done eating. And not a penny from you. Off to find your fortune in Karnaka. Some fortune, but that's the end of it, Bethy. Presumably that's Sarah. And I just killed the poor woman. Her children are now orphans. I honestly thought I was walking up to the black market. I thought, oh, okay, these ladies are fine with me. They don't seem to be interested. And then I opened this gate. And when they were first like, hey, what the fuck's going on here? I thought, uh-oh, did I just open, like, the black market's storage area? And they're pissed. They think I'm going to rob them? Nope, turns out they were just assholes. What's the point of this room, then, if there's nothing in it? Oh, there's something in it. One coin worth of whalebone.
Why do so many have so little? It was never meant to be this way.
Okay, this dude was talking to me before. Who in the devil are you?
Times are hard. Help me out if you can. Appreciate it. I'll let you in on the secret.
Oh, goody.
I saw people coming and going recently, looking for whale oil, up to something.
Yeah, there was whale oil down there, which I wonder if I shouldn't have to come back to use.
So many you watch
Damn.
yourself. A Grand Guard aren't too friendly to strangers. I worked in the silver mines here until the dust got to my lungs.
Rats, I thought I might be able to get through. Huh. Ah, black market is sure to be down one of these alleys, yeah? Black market. The hell? It's weird.
The situation in the Empire has driven the prices up, I'm afraid.
Silver Spike, Empress Delilah's secret. Today, risking my very life, I bring you probing questions about our new Empress, Delilah Caldwin. Or, depending on your political leanings, Delilah Copperspoon. Is it true that her mother was a kitchen maid employed in Dunwall Tower? Even if so, that does not prove she was Emperor Euhorn Caldwin's daughter. Euhorn would be Emily's grandfather. If the Emperor did in fact have a second secret daughter, making her the true heir to the Caldwin throne, why didn't he make the proper arrangements? Outside speculation, what else do we know about our Empress Delilah? What can the Silver Spike tell you beyond the marketplace gossip? We can date her past from the time she claims to have grown up in Jessamine's shadow. We know when Delilah's most regarded paintings were bought and sold, but where she was between those earlier times and this year, when she ascended the throne... Where was she between those earlier times and this year, when she ascended the throne in Dunwall? Such a long gap away is suspicious, is it not? No artwork sold, not even an address of record. No neighbors stepping forward with juicy tales from the long period before she arrived in Karnaca, just 3 years ago. Therein lies a mystery worth cracking, dear readers. Her activities in the time before she was first seen with our Duke Luca Abel. Interesting.
Welcome. You look like someone with refined tastes.
Indeed, I think so. Like to think so. What do you have for me?
If you're not with the guard, I'm happy to serve. I don't know you.
I'm new to Karnaca. I need a tool that can rewire a wall of light, the kind the Grand Guard uses. And I'd prefer not to explain myself.
You don't need to see my identification.
Don't even linger here. I'm supposed to get a
These
visit
aren't
from
the
Paolo,
rewire
someone
tools you're
you don't
looking
want to
for.
meet. Come back later.
Understood.
Wait.
You should go. We can do business another
Wait.
time.
What? I missed
Like
that.
said, Paolo is coming by.
Paolo? What the fuck? Who's Paolo? Paolo's coming by.
I think he's here. Hide yourself.
Shit.
They'll see you if you try to leave. Find a place to hide and we'll do business afterwards.
Hope this works.
Aching back.
She is a child. For the baby say she plans to join her uncle, his farm just outside Bastillion. If she can make it.
She's fucking pregnant? And she's a bodyguard?
Garbage that wouldn't hold an edge and snapped against Grand Guard.
He's made the Howlers into something more than just a street gang.
Maybe 10%?
30. Because I like you. By next week.
What if I link these fuckers
That's fair.
and then put them to sleep?
Made a bad faith trade and I regret it. You'll have the cutters, I promise.
Hey!
He's gone. What happened?
Shit! Hey!
Oh shit. Ah, the bodyguard killed me. So, hang on a second. I hit him with sleep dart and then he disappeared? I was thinking she's a pregnant lady. I don't want to kill her. I'll link them together, put him to sleep.
I think he's here. Hide yourself.
And then they'll both collapse. I didn't know about the third dude. And then I'll be able to trade with the lady without impediment.
See you if you try to leave. Find a place to hide and we'll do business afterwards.
So don't kill him, or shoot him, or put him to sleep. Just
over to a doctor this very
wait.
Coughing up black. But did he listen?
I need 8 new cutters. Short blades, the good stuff. More leasy.
I know what you mean.
Nope, I'm not supposed to do this, am I?
She won't go anywhere.
You little shit.
I'll keep that nice
Cut you
scarf
into
of yours.
pieces. Last time I checked, you weren't dating you enough.
Finish her.
Yeah, I'm not supposed to do anything. I'm supposed to just listen. Alright, I'm just gonna listen this time. That's weird. They sure make it seem like you're supposed to do something. Like the black market lady's like, oh shit, here comes
He's here.
badass
Hide
McGee.
yourself.
And you're like, ah, I'll do her a favor and get rid of him for her. But apparently I'm not supposed to do that.
They'll see you if you try to leave. Find a place to hide and we'll do business afterwards.
That's a bit of my nose. Dust, I guess. I didn't know how many corpses there were rotting in the canal.
Okay, let's get the heart, because this is interesting.
She's made the Howlers into something more than just a street gang. She served them black pudding. It was only later they discovered whose blood she had used.
Because last time, you gave me some backwater foundry garbage that wouldn't hold an edge, and snapped against Grand Guard armor.
I got taken on that deal too. But I'll make it up to you, Paolo. Lop off maybe 10%?
30. Because I like you. By next week.
That's fair. I made a bad faith trade and I regret it. You'll have the cutters, I promise.
Good, good. These are strange times. Overseers in the Dust District, a witch empress, and these clockwork soldiers protecting the aristocracy. All bad for business. But if I get my way, Karnaca will be a different city a year from now.
What?
Who do we have here?
They saw me.
I wonder why your face is covered, lady.
That's my business. Who are you supposed to be?
I'm Paolo. In this part of town, everything's my business. And slumming rich kids should remember all that etiquette they learned. Maybe you need another lesson. Is that what you came down here for?
Howler's got business here. Run along.
Hey, you! Come here! Time to die. Who taught you to fight?
So, I guess I was spotted. I need to do a better job of hiding, huh? This is getting silly. I didn't think there'd be so many goddamn tries to this.
I think he's here. Hide yourself. I'll see you if you try to leave. Find a place to hide and we'll do business afterwards.
Nope, didn't work.
Around here. And this time it ain't me.
Need some booze to rinse out the dust from last night.
It's Garrus!
I need...
There, that's a good hiding spot.
Short blades, the good stuff. More steel.
I know what you mean.
Do you? Because last time, you gave me some backwater foundry garbage that wouldn't hold an edge, and snapped against Grand Guard armor.
I got taken on that deal too. But I'll make it up to you, Paolo. Lop off maybe 10%?
30. Because I like you. By next week.
That's fair. I made a bad faith trade and I regret it. You'll have the cutters, I promise.
Good, good. These are strange times. Overseers in the Dust District, a witch empress, and these clockwork soldiers protecting the aristocracy. All bad for business. But if I get my way, Karnaca will be a different city a year from now.
Okay, let's see if this is good enough this time. Okay, so is the coast clear?
Thanks. I serve with discretion.
No upgrades available. Instant sleep dart. Incendiary bolt. Stinging bolt. Hardened bolt.
I used to own a cafe down at the docks, but the smell of fish blood was stronger than the smell of morning coffee. I had to sell it.
Grenades, 1 of 4. Stun mines. Someone took the ticket booth key off a drunk guardsman assigned to protect the carriage station. With the key, unlock the ticket booth and gain access to the money inside.
Sometimes
If
I wish
you
I
can
had a
avoid
grand
the
inventor
Grand
among my
Guard.
clients. But I've heard he's not so easy to please.
Rewires.
A pleasure to do business.
Is that it? There's
The
just the
situation
one?
in the Empire has driven the prices up, I'm afraid. You won't be sorry. A deal well made.
250 gold for the key. Okay, let's look at
I sleep in the shop most nights.
upgrades
Let's
first.
see. I have some upgrade plans for your gear.
Good grief, there's so much.
Things were so much better just a decade ago.
Stun mines function additional time. Okay, I want the bone charm upgrade. 2 slots. That's worth it. Nope. Faster reload. Pistol reload, sure, I use that. I use the pistols quite a bit, I mean. Okay, I'll do that. It's kind of nice to get a second use out of each one. And then I think I'll do... lens optics. Greater zoom. Oh wait, what's this? 3 additional bone charm slots. Why not both? So then we can finalize our gear, because we don't have to worry about spending more money on upgrades at the moment. I'm satisfied with what we got. The rune might be worth it. The key might be worth it. Do you think the key, there's more than 250 gold inside the ticket booth? Alright, I'm gonna do them both. That's all the money I have.
Do find me again.
Okay, so we have so many bone charms space now. So much bone charm space. Yeah, I don't have the far reach pulling ability yet, so white rats can be eaten for mana. Ugh. No thanks. I think that's where I'll leave it for now. I have one rune. Okay. Brokers are planning to knock down a weak wall leading to the back of the black market shop. They don't have enough whaler for the black. That's what that was about. I wish I would have read that first. I could have busted into the back of the black market shop and probably taken everything that I wanted. I should have checked that before I went to the black market shop. Okay. We got the ticket booth key located in Lower Aventa. I'll have to find that. Alright. Everybody, it's the top of the hour. It's actually past the top of the hour. This is where we're going to end it for this week. We will pick it up here next time and do more of Aventa and try to get to Kirin, whatever, Jindash and Sokolov, if Sokolov is there. So, those of you in the chat tonight, thanks very much for hanging out and indulging my digressions as they were. Those of you catching up on YouTube, thanks very much for doing so. And I hope that you can join me some future Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every Thursday on Twitch. Currently doing Neverwinter Nights and Dishonored 2. Until next time, everybody, take care. Have a good night. Happy New Year. And I'll see you around.